Wow, I am blown away by what I have played. Let me tell you something. The Switch has been killing it this summer with a steady set of releases from Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, which I have not touched yet, and now this. I must admit, I slept on this game. I thought, oh, developed by Platinum Games. That's cool. I might check it out, but once I started playing, I got hooked because, well, it's Platinum Games. They've had a few misses lately, but when it comes to action games, they know how to deliver. Color me impressed. This game is fun, and this is what a video game should be above all else. Now for the story spoilers, so skip to this time in the video if you don't want to be spoiled. The year is 2078. Humanity is on the brink of extinction. The remnants of the human populace have retreated to a megacity called the Ark. But the world is under attack by the Chimeras, which reside in the Astral plane. They cause destruction, dragging civilians into the portals. Any human that remains in the portal will become a Chimera. But fortunately there is a special task force that is designed to combat such threats. The Neuron Task Force. And the main characters are two twin siblings who were raised by Max Howard. You pick which character you want, and the twin you didn't pick becomes Akira Howard. Player character's name is whatever you want it to be. He or she is a silent protagonist. The silent protagonist is a way to immerse the player into the game. It has become a little outdated, I suppose, with voice acting, and because of the voice acting, the player character is never referred to by name, and Akira is usually referred to with gender-neutral pronouns. So during an investigation, Neuron enters the astral plane, but their legions go berserk and they are forced to fight back. But only you, the player, are able to recover your legion. In the conflict to come, Max realizes that somebody has to stay behind and you are forced to leave him.
Captain, let me help you!
Jin?
Jin, what are you? Let me go! Let me go! Dad! Dad!
So now the player character is left the only one with a legion, and that makes him or her extremely valuable to Neuron. The following chapters were your goal is to recapture the legions. More on them when we get to the gameplay section. But now I'll talk about the characters real quick. Your supporting cast range from quirky to serious. They all have defined personalities, such as Marie, who pretends to be Lappy, but acts like it's a big secret. But everyone knows it's really her. I don't know why, but I just like her. She has a good personality and she provides much needed levity to the story. I even enjoyed the mission where you have to dress up as Lappy and cheer everyone up. In troubling times, it's best to remember we need to laugh at times. There's also Brenda the medic who looks almost exactly like Bulma from Dragon Ball. No, seriously, she looks almost exactly like her. There's Olive, who serves as your mission control, and I like her. She serves an important role later. Really, what the next few files are building up to is Akira's jealousy of the player character.
Huh. Looks like you've got the hang of your legion already. I mean, if it were me, I'd be using that thing to try to save Dad right about now. Can't believe the commander. He's so obsessed with chimeras, he hardly notices Dad's gone.
Of course, at the beginning of the game, we see hints as to who the real big bad is. Yeah, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but once he starts speaking, it's pretty obvious he's going to be the bad guy. But the main bad guy for the time being is Jenna Anderson, the woman in white. What I will say about her is that she's an effective villain. She basically wants to merge the Earth with the Astral plane, which will wipe out all of humanity. The idea is that she was a well-intentioned extremist, but lost her way. She proceeds to give the story its darkest turn when she stabs Akira. Yeah, but this serves as a way to set up Akira's own character development, It also gives more hints as to Yusef's motives as he looks on Akira with a, yeah, this is going to be useful sort of look to him. The story then takes on a turn where you have to infiltrate a sector that's off limits. You get to see the slums of the area, and it's interesting world building. Hal, the guy who runs the droid, is an interesting character, and so is Kyle, the character you meet here, because it shows a different side to the conflict that's going on. People who are avoiding redshifting by taking drugs. Of course, you end up getting arrested for this because, well, you entered an illegal area. That's going to be trouble regardless. But the situation proves so dire that Akira gets you out of the cell. So this whole climax is well done as it finally leads to the confrontation with Jenna, and the battle with her is appropriately epic. You see, what I think this game is going for is that while Jenna wants to forcefully merge the two worlds, the player character, that is you, finds a way to bond with their legions and treat them like they are family. It's all about the chains that bind us together, after all. In true Platinum fashion, Jenna's final form is whatever this is. Of course, it's the obligatory "it's all up to you" because the player character has to do everything in the video game. But unfortunately, so much power comes with a price. The scene is rather well done, with Akira calling out to their sibling to come back. Yeah, playable helplessness. It's actually really compelling and really well done, and Jenna finally meets her fate.
But you didn't listen! Now you understand. This is...
But then Yosef finally shows his true colors.
All right. Aim for the Legion. Fire.
Hey, stop!
Yeah, Yosef is the true monster of the story. So this leads into the final act where the player must team up with Olive and Hal to take back Neuron from Yosef, who has now branded anyone against him a traitor. Eventually the conflict takes you to rescue Brenda, which leads rather nicely into battle with Akira. As it turns out, Yosef cloned Akira against their will. I think it's a rather interesting payoff. The story is honestly pretty damn good. The characters are likable and interesting. The lore is very cool, and you know me, I really go for lore with my series. If I find the lore interesting, then yeah, you get a fan of me. Just don't pollute the lore with things you don't need, then I start to lose interest. So if this game continues with more sequels, yeah, keep this going. I'm interested in what goes on in this world. The setup is interesting. I want to see this world continue. The graphics are pretty good. It has a nice little anime style to it, which I think is what the creators were going for. The character designs are all amazing. The game runs at 60 frames per second, and the game runs pretty good in handheld mode, although not without some fuzziness. The music is pretty freaking awesome. I just love it whenever I get into a fight. The voice acting is a little hit and miss though. I imagine this is Nintendo not hiring union voice actors, I know non-union actors are cheaper, but the old saying is true. You get what you pay for. Now for the gameplay. You move with the analog stick, you attack with the right trigger button, which admittedly took some getting used to at first. You have 3 attack styles, the gun, the X-Baton, and the Gladius Blade. You can switch between these weapons on the fly with a push of up or down on the D-pad, which makes for fluid game design. You can also dodge by pressing the B button. The A button is used for interacting. Now what are the X and Y buttons for? The X button is mainly used for items, typically healing with medicine. Speaking of, let's go into the Legions. The Legion basically serves as your combat buddy. By pressing the left trigger button, the Legion will come out and attack your opponents. By holding the left trigger, you can control the Legion on a leash. This is mostly used for whenever you want to clean up red matter. By pressing the left trigger button, you can send the Legion to directly attack whatever enemy you want. When your character flashes blue, you can do a synchro attack with your Legion, which is way more powerful. It adds to the theme of you and your Legion working together as one unit. Trust your Legion. You can also use the chain to bind your enemies. The game makes good use of the chain, such as using it to chain jump, essentially fulfilling the game's platforming segment. You can be very versatile with the chain. The Legions come in 5 varieties, so I'll just go ahead and talk about them real quick. The Sword Legion that you start off with is exactly what it says. It's a Legion that attacks with the sword. It's definitely the one that you want to use when it comes to close range combat. It's the one I usually stuck with, but you also need to occasionally open doors. By pressing the L button, you and your Legion can perform a specific action. With sword, it's slice and dice. The next Legion you get is the Arrow Legion, which works great for long range fighting. I like to use it with the gun combination. Since its specific action is shooting arrows, you use it to attack things that are too far out of reach. The Arm Legion is the big guy of the Legions. You need to lift open specific doors and objects. Its special ability is not really all that interesting. You just use it to get over things that would slow you down. But you can use it as an armor to attack, which is really cool. The Beast Legion is like having a dog. You use it to track things when you're doing a tracking mission. You can ride the Beast Legion, and you need it to get across certain platforms. Then there's the Axe Legion, which is largely used for defense. It's very slow, but when it attacks, it is powerful. Its shield, however, is useful for traversing hazardous areas. So when you're not fighting, you're solving cases. One little detail I like is when you are gathering notes. So you have to piece the mystery together. I like taking the time to explore the world. This world is very interesting, as I keep saying. When you're not solving mysteries or busting heads, there's Neuron HQ, which is basically your safe haven. Because every game has to have a safe haven. I love safe havens, what am I saying? It's a good place to sit back, relax, go to the bathroom, catch up with your friends. The theme that I've noticed is healing. The world is on the brink of extinction, so whenever you see a citizen suffering from redshift, you should go out of your way to heal the person in question. And one side quest that the game lets you do is find stray cats and take them to a safe place. Once I found out about this, I immediately went out of my way to find all these stray cats and give them a good home where they can live in peace and comfort. I love visiting the room to feed them. This cat is all about the good life. Look at how he's laying. He's all about the business. So with that, it's time to cover the final boss and ending. So skip to this time in the video if you don't want to be spoiled. So you finally arrive at Yosef's cloning facility. The level is mostly marked by having to fight countless Akira clones. It sets the atmosphere for the battle to come quite nicely. What follows is a whole spiel of chimeras and death traps. This is pretty much letting you know that this is going to be the final level. But unfortunately, Akira has not been doing so well with the revelation that they were cloned, and that leads to the emotional battle. Akira is not a very hard boss, but the way the blades clash and blows echo, it really helps to add to the atmosphere. So you finally beat Akira, but Yosef decides to sick the entire Legion army upon you and your sibling. Another epic confrontation, as this is what pushes the bonds of your legions to the test. But then Yosef summons Noah.
So this is what Yosef's been working on. I don't like where this is going. It's all up to us to stop it now. But how?
Gotta say, Platinum really loves their angelic final bosses. Akira is merged with Noah, and now it's just you and Noah. The first phase is just this huge platforming section, but the scale and scope is simply admirable. And then comes the second phase where you must attack Noah's core, and the music gets really intense here as you really lay away at the core. Then comes Yosef's final form. Akira tries to fight back, but it's no use. This is an epic final boss as it pushes all your skills to the test. That's what a good final boss should do. The final blow is struck, but Noah can't be defeated just that easily. So Akira lays down the line and sacrifices themselves for the final blow. So that's the end of Astral Chain. Of course, Akira manages to come back because they were able to download the original's memories into a clone, which is a bit of an abrupt conclusion, but alright, fine. Her character actually talks in the epilogue, which is new. So that's Astral Chain. What can I say about it? What would I say the game is about? It's about fighting for a better future. It's about doing what you can for your fellow person. So go out there and help your fellow man or woman. Somebody out there needs help. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit that bell, like, and subscribe button. See ya!
Until the world is clean again. Until the world is peaceful again. I know someone who would have wanted it that way.